Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here tonight. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Yeah? Okay. I can talk closer? I'm going to buddy up to the mic here. It's just an awkward angle for me. All right, there you go. I'll give it a shot. So, Cecile raised some very good points. I kind of want to put a different spin on some of the things that she talked about. But what I liked that Cecile mentioned was about how we have to all be aware, and the education, and the fact that too many people aren't aware of what's going on in their very own backyards. So that's a big issue. So I really hope that in speaking with you tonight, I can give you a little bit more information and education. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about tonight, and this is annoying. Maybe I should hold it. What do you think? Yeah. All right. How's that? We're good?
Much
All
better.
right. Looks better. That's the most important thing, right? Which, this? There we go. Woohoo! All righty. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is a little bit about institutional abuse. We talked about victims of abuse. Just picture this. What if your abuser is the person that's charged with helping you? And I'm going to talk to you about this from both a provider and a patient perspective. So just indulge me for the next 4 minutes or so, okay? I work as an emergency room crisis clinician. The majority of my patients are brought in against their will, usually by EMS or police. I love my work. I really do. And I'm really, really good at it, I have to say. I work with psychiatric acuity almost exclusively. I don't do talk therapy at work. My job in a very, very short period of time is to engage, to assess, and to de-escalate. Now, with the patients that I see in my ER, histories of physical and sexual abuse are the expectation rather than the exception. In my first meeting, where is Jazz? Can't even say. My first meeting with this amazing and beautiful woman, I must say, we talked a little bit about the use of restraints in psychiatric hospitals, and she was really surprised to hear that it's still a regular practice. Yeah. In my hospital and most facilities in the tri-state area, patients are restrained by uniformed and predominantly male security guards. 4-point restraints, in case you're not familiar with what they are, they position patients spread eagle with both ankles and wrists strapped down to a bed. Little regard is given for deaf patients, to whom having their wrists bound and losing the ability to sign, to communicate, is the equivalent of being gagged. Now, usually after physical restraint, the patient is injected with a sedative. The parallels of the injection and forcible sexual penetration are uncanny. Now, I carry a restraint key. I'm mandated to do so. But there isn't a person alive who could make me use it for anything else but unlocking the restraints and releasing a patient. I take this pledge very, very seriously. I am a 40-something-year-old woman that still suffers with the effects of treatment that I received over 20 years ago. Whew. I got this. I also quit smoking less than a year ago, and my God, I really could use a cigarette. Not by choice, which sucks. In the mid-90s, I spent 3 months in restraints. I was bound at maximum in a straitjacket, 2-point, and a shoulder harness. At their least restrictive, my restraints were limited to wristbands that attached to a leather belt at my waist and shackles on my feet. I didn't leave the restraint bed for the first month and a half that I was at this facility. When I was found to be lucid and less dangerous, I was offered the privilege of urinating in the toilet instead of the bedpan I had been using. I was placed in a straitjacket with the strap between my legs left undone. Security was at the bedside to assist, in case I caused a problem. I swung my feet around the side of the bed, and the two staff members, one on each arm, attempted to ease me up off of the bed. I remember the coolness of the floor. And then my legs collapsed from beneath me, and I had to be carried back onto the bed. After over a month without use, my legs had atrophied. I didn't make it to the bathroom. I have permanent damage to my spine and chronic neck and back pain caused by months in restraints. And the emotional scars not only of the restraints, but being sexually assaulted by a hospital staff member while I was in restraints. And to add insult to injury, like too many other victims of abuse, I wasn't believed. In the institutions, once you are deemed crazy, you lose all credibility. This is a very vulnerable population and one that is rife with abuse. Now, I realize there are a lot of nurses and doctors that are actually well-meaning, not monsters on power trips, at least not all of them. Physicians take the Hippocratic Oath. You all know this one, right? First and foremost, do no harm. Now, this is a promise we can only cross our fingers and hope that they sincerely mean to keep. The mental health system is flawed, but restraints, seclusion, and meds were not designed as tools of abuse. But sometimes, the greatest harm that we can cause is the harm that we cause in our efforts to help. Thank you. I have stickers if anybody wants.
What's your website?
Oh yeah, my website is DeborahMax.com.
How do you spell it?
Biblical spelling of Deborah. D-E-B-O-R-A-H, last name Max, like Peter Max, no relation unfortunately, M-A-X. I have stickers for everyone if you so choose. All right? Thank you again.
I really want to thank Deborah for sharing such a personal story. Honestly, she's amazing. And this is an author, am I right? Wow. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.